Okay, howdy. So I deleted my last two Prime 3 Figma reviews simply because I wasn't happy with the videos. So here we are doing a completely proper full review now that I think and hope I'm going to come or be happy with once this is finished and I watch it once it's uploaded. So this is just a third final review, an overall discussion about the Prime 3 Samus Figma. So I'm going to start this one with accessories before anything else. So starting off with the morph ball. It's pretty damn good. It looks like a basketball, and I like the wood louse look it has. I love the Prime 3 design of Samus just in general. It's one of my favorite looks for her. But the morph ball is... I'm not really sure if it's painted or not besides these black lines inside of it. But the orange is actually orange plastic, so there's very little paint on it. The nice green line inside of it can spin, and I will use one of the hand pegs to show you that. So it can spin kind of freely. It's not super duper smooth, but yeah, you can see that peg hole moving a little bit. And it spins inside of the morph ball, which can be useful for stop motion, I guess, if you're going to be making something like that. But I like the morph ball. It's very well done. It's very well painted and sculpted, and I do generally like how this looks. I just keep it in the packaging, which you can see over here in the frame, I hope. Now, hands, she comes with a thumbs up, and the gems in the back of each of the hands is painted with green paint and covered by a plastic sheet. I didn't mention that in the other two videos, or at least not early enough. But she has a thumbs up, a splayed open hand, a fist is on her right now, and a relaxed / gripping hand, even though she doesn't have anything to hold. Now, the pegs in the hands all work the same way. It is a straight peg with a ball axle on it, so you can bend this peg down and forward, and if you want it to articulate differently, you can spin the peg and straighten it up. So now it's more of a back and forth movement. And if you spin it up, it can be down and up. But I like how the hands are done. They're pretty good. I don't think these pegs can be taken out, and I'm not going to risk doing that either. They're all, as far as I can tell, pretty well attached into the hands, and I'm not risking removing them at all. I'm never going to do that. The missile launcher attachment for her arm cannon is very well sculpted and painted. If there is paint on it, I don't know, besides that orange light in the barrel. That's, as far as I can tell, the only painted part. The rest is sculpted in green and black, or cyan. Oh no, the black is painted on. Yeah, the black parts of the barrel are painted. I don't really know how well you can tell, but the black parts inside of these rings are painted. That tiny little bit of black inside the splayed parts of the barrel are painted, but it's very well done. And I will show you how this part comes off in just a minute. Now, getting fully into the articulation, before I do though, the right shoulder was very loose, so I had to use Kiki's Fix Loose Joints action figure joint glue. I don't really know what this is. I think it's like floor polish mixed with adhesive, but I found this for about $8 on eBay, and I've only had to use it on her and my Doomslayer Figma so far, but it works very effectively at what it's supposed to do. If you do get this, follow the instructions very closely. You have to, and I'm not going to risk just leaving it to sit, because it will seize a joint if you let it solidify without moving anything. She included this clear plastic bag, which I have the Dread Samus's other hands in right now. But it came with this plastic bag. Every Figma does, as far as I know. And now just getting into the girl herself, the coolest woman in the galaxy. Painting and sculpting, almost no paint. Almost no paint. The green is painted on her chest, her legs, her hands. but it's all green paint covered in clear transparent plastic. The arm cannon is sculpted in the cyan bluish green it's supposed to be, but the whites on top of the barrel are painted, and the white inside of the tip is painted as well, and it's scratched a little bit on my copy. But she's very beautifully sculpted and beautifully lack of paint. Beautifully non-painted, really. She's very well done. That is the peg hole for her stand. Now getting into articulation, starting at the head. She can look down, look up very far. Full rotation, of course. And a rock. Kind of. It's kind of hard to do with her pauldrons in the way, but there is a rock to it. And taking the head off for just a second. This is a floating neck piece, so it is separate, and it is hollow in the backside to allow for more movement. And this hole that her head goes into, it can move independently of the rest of the head. The head is on a sort of a dumbbell joint. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it has a ball in the where it's attached inside the head and a moving peg. Now putting the head back on. It's a little short there. There we go. The arms are both the same, and this one is going to be tight, so I'm going to show you its movement, and then the left arm. The pauldron can move a little bit independently of the rest of the arm. It has back and forth and a little bit of up and down. But if you're going to bend the arms and move them around, I suggest you grab it by the pauldron, not the bicep. Grab by the pauldron and twist. And yeah, it is tight because of that joint glue I had to use to fix it. So her arms can move pretty well. They get a little tight when you bend them up that far, but it's not too bad. And they can go back that far. They can spread out. Is that as far as it goes? Yeah, I think that's about as far as they go for a side-to-side movement. The arms have a bicep. The arms have a bicep swivel and a pretty decent elbow bend on her arm cannon. Not the best, but it works well enough. And a much further bend on her left arm, which I think is about 90 degrees. I'm not 100% sure how much that is, but it works very, very well. Now to the hand, with that peg, it can bend back and forth and twist inside the wrist. Hey, that rhymed. But the hands are, of course, on a simple plug and socket. There's a hole inside of her arm for the peg. So just pop that back in. And going to her arm cannon, I'm not going to do it here, but to put the missile launcher attachment onto her arm cannon, you simply twist and pull the standard barrel, and it pops out and holds it. These do hold their connection pretty well, but it's just a simple socket. Anyways, popping that back on. The arms are on a 3-way ball joint, so they kind of have a butterfly. I mean, it's functionally a butterfly anyways, and it works pretty fucking well. The midsection has this moving chest piece to allow for a deep ab crunch, and a pretty alright arcing back. At least I think it's okay. Yeah, that looks good. The legs, I'm just going to move her arm out of the way here. The legs can't have this little moving piece on the top of the hip to allow for more range. And she can split, not super duper well, but functionally it's enough. The thighs can be pushed in or spread out, which looks a little silly, but it's very, very functional in how it works. The legs have a thigh swivel. They can, oh, let's see if I can do this well. Okay, left hand. They can kick very far forward and very far backwards. The knees have a very, very deep bend, and it's not even double jointed, but it works very well. The legs can swivel at the knee, which is simply because of, come on, the space with the joint. Oh shit, bumped my phone. Whoops. But just pop that back on. There we go. The feet have a toe bend that goes straight up and flat down. There's no downwards move to it. It can kick back pretty far, and as far as the ankle guard will allow it to. It also has a rock completely to the side, either side, so it can go that far. So you can mix and match all of this movement to get some very good poses out of her. I have managed to get some good looks from this Figma. It's more articulated than I'm really able to describe or show you, but it works insanely well. Now, standing her back here. Stand up. Thank you. She includes the standard size Figma stand, which is simply plugged into the base. And it has a hinge joint at all of these screws, including the top one. The packaging is this very nice, beautiful blue window box, and it has some artwork of her, on every side, except for the front. This is Figma 349, Nintendo's official seal of approval, so it's licensed with Prime 3's logo there. Has a very good shot of her on the side, and some action poses on the back. And yes, you are very much able to do that with her. She's incredibly poseable. She can crouch just fine with no real issues to her. And I'm not sure if this is Japanese text because this is from Japan, or if it's simply printed with Japanese text across the board all over the world. But I think this is a much more in-depth and better video on the first go. But with that, I'm out. Peace out, gamers.